wanted to make this video real quick. I saw this on the mainstream news today. Justin Bieber is into hentai coloring books. And the reason this caught my attention is because of the big, trendy new thing now of adult coloring books. And, you know, hopefully most of you who see my video are aware of, you know, what's going on in the world and the predictive programming and things like that, and how the system works, and to get, you know, getting people basically controlling them by like subliminal TV, celebrity, the things that are trendy. It kind of, you know, people see it, and once the celebrities do it, they want to do it, basically. Or they want to wear what they want, you know, the celebrities are wearing, or they want to, you know, basically just mimic them. And that's kind of why the secret societies, or the people who control this world, pick the celebrities they do, and they tell them what to wear, they tell them what to post in the media. They are basically puppets, or slaves rather. So when I saw this, you know, I just felt like I needed to make a video and kind of make everybody aware, if they're not, what these coloring books really are. The Mandala coloring books are basically come from Buddhist traditions, and I'll show you in just a minute. I saw a really good video of Puritan Pictures posted about it, and this is kind of why I didn't do it before, because he did a really good video on it. But when I saw the Justin Bieber thing, I think he posted it on Instagram. Let me see, scroll down and show you real quick. It says, yeah, that's it. It was Instagram, and he says, I colored this. Of course, that's not the Mandala. It's just one porn-looking image he colored, but it's kind of the same concept. I colored this. It's dope because I sat down 30 minutes and finished it. I never can sit still for that long. Don't judge me, whatever. But anyway, another fan caught him at Barnes and Nobles and took a picture of him. And of course, in the mainstream media, it says, where does this image come from and where can I buy it? And then his fan snapped a picture of him in Barnes and Nobles going through the Mandala coloring books, of course. So then it gives you an example of where you can buy it, which ones to buy. And that's how they do things. That's exactly how the media works. That's how this system is. It's a beast system. And that's why it kind of turned up all of a sudden. I mean, I remember it coming up in the news about how coloring relieves stress. It's a type of therapy. And like, for instance, this was one post that I found. And I kept thinking, God, the first thing that came to mind was, what is the purpose of this? What are they? It's something going on with the coloring books. What is the whole point? Because it came out of the blue. Nowhere. You know, like coloring, you know, what adult has time to color, right? Well, they bring it up and they say it beats stress, it relieves anxiety, and that's how they work this. And I knew it was going to snowball into something else, and there was going to be an underlying point to all of this. And of course it was. But anyway, you can read, I'll post these links for you. But there's all kinds of articles that came out about this, about how it relieves stress, and life in the world today is really stressful, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, and then it goes to give you examples, you know, what coloring books you can buy, of course, and all that good stuff. But anyway, when I saw the whole thing about Justin Bieber, I kind of got into it a little bit more, and then like I said, it comes from the Buddhist traditions, and this is what Carl Jung, he was a famous Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist, and he founded the School of Analytical Psychology, and he focuses on this type of basically these type of spiritual realms and the psychology around it and therapy. And this is what he says. It says in this article, it says, the mandala itself is a receptacle for deities and universal forces. It is not just opening a door to the spiritual realm. It is knocking on the door of a false temple. If the monk constructing the mandala is participating in a spiritual ritual, what are we doing? This is from the Last Hiker WordPress, and I'll put this link to below. But it's kind of getting to the roots of it, basically, and telling you about it. And it says it's a process of constructing a mandala as a sacred ritual, as a meditative, painstaking process that can take days, even weeks to complete. And there are videos on the monks that are actually doing this. You can go on Google and search it, and it kind of tells you the process, and you can get a better idea of it. And the way they do it is, the way they lay it out has to be a particular pattern. They can change up some of the coloring and things like that. But this is basically a ritual. It's a symbolic, like, it's witchery. It's witchcraft. It's wizardry. It's kind of crossing over to that spirit realm that we're not supposed to do. And it even says in the Bible, and God says it's basically an abomination to participate in these type of things. But if you're asleep and you're not thinking deeply enough about things like this, it looks harmless, completely harmless. I mean, coloring books, right? I mean, it looked like, I'll show you pictures. It was like just a pretty color wheel is what it looks like. But that's really not what it is. It's not. It represents something else, and it's a way to connect, just like meditating. They meditate when they do this, like yoga. Yoga can be harmless if you're not meditating to some weird deity or things like that. But it's the way it came about was particularly for that, for praising, and connecting with deities. And that's in the same category as this, A lot of things that are the new age type things are not good, and you need to be aware of that, and this is why I'm making this video. I just want everybody to be aware and to check out these links and to kind of know what's going on, because this is the big trend now. And our God, the real God, Jesus, doesn't need symbols. Satan or Lucifer does. This is how he connects. This is how we're all made out of energy, and whatever we allow to connect with our energy, it changes us. It opens up, portals and doors for these things to connect with us, and it's wrong. It's not good, and it's dangerous. And let's see, there was something else I was going to show you. That's him. It says he also was seriously involved in practices of alchemy, astrology, and mysticism. So there you go, right there. And this kind of goes into what the Bible says, and it says in Deuteronomy 18:9-12. And of course, this is New International Version, and I recommend King James. But it says, when you enter the land of the Lord your God is giving you, do not learn to imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. And actually, the Lord says it's an abomination. And this goes into the magic stones, charms, and crystals, which I was going to do a separate video on crystals, because that's kind of the same thing. Your TV's made out of a crystal, so what does that tell you? But these are just some pictures, some ideas. Most of the ones that are trending now, like the geometric patterns, which of course an owl, but these patterns are, they're symbols. They're how you connect to the other side. It's opening the doors, spiritual things, and it's really bad. It's not good. And this basically, this article on the Huffington Post actually gives you a link to a book, a coloring book that they recommend, and I clicked on that. I'll put the link up for that too. But this is what it was. It was the let's see if it'll work. Sorry guys. It's Color Yourself Calm, and this thing actually tells you how to meditate. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? There's 69. At least that's what I see. I know what it's, whatever. You kind of got to see through that. Look at this. This is all witchcraft. These are all occult symbols is what this is. And it says mindfulness practice. And it goes through how